Welcome back to KRS Investments, where investments are made simple. Guys, exciting day for Tesla. Now, this is a huge story. Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome back to KRS Investment, where we keep investments simple. Now, we're looking at Tesla. As I said earlier, that Tesla has reported late this evening that they um, have sales that rose 74%. That is correct, guys. 74% of sale. We can see they earned $438 million for this quarter, compared with this quarter last year, in the previous year, at 39 cents a share. This is why I say, guys, you know what? I made a few videos earlier that I let you guys know that I will never sell my Tesla. In worst case scenario, I kept adding more shares. I urge anyone that's invested in the EV market, you gotta have some shares in Tesla. Now, we do understand that Tesla stock is very expensive. As we can see, it's $738 per share. But again, guys, this is great news for all of us that are invested in the company. Now, keep in mind, guys, this will pull the entire market forward. Now we can see so far NIO is trending up so far. We can see even Nikola, I was explaining in my previous video, have gone up 31% since April 20th of 2021. So since last week, just 5 days ago, Nikola has gone up 31%. We can see Luminar has gone up 32%. We can see QuantumScape, another one of my play, 25% since April 20. And of course, we saw that Innovitz there is up 21%. Now, Tesla only changed, I believe, between 2 to 3%. Not a big movement in Tesla, but that's okay. Now, guys, I told you from day one, well, not have to tell you. Everyone know, or most of you guys should know by now, you have to look for a company in their sector that's performing well. Now, if you guys know the backstory, and I say it over and over in many videos, over and over, that I'm in Tesla at a very low price. Now, if we compare the split right now, my average was just around $38 per share. But as I mentioned to you guys, I like to buy low, sell high. Now, more than often, if Tesla starts to drop in the low 600s or in the low 500s, definitely it's a no-brainer. Even though I have a substantial amount of shares, I will still risk it by getting more shares. And what I mean is that, and I mentioned that earlier, is that I'm still keeping my whole shares, meaning percentage. So basically, if I have 1,000 shares in Tesla, I'm still holding those positions. But once the stock goes down, I will buy call options, guys. Buy the call options, make the profit, use the profit to invest in Tesla. I've been doing this for years now. Each time it goes down, I buy the call option, and then I'm able to profit. And it's been very profitable. So if you guys are on the same boat, if it's something that you guys are interested in, then I definitely urge you to do some research to find out how to do options. Now, again, I'm still holding shares in the company because I'm going long term, right? The same goes for Apple. Because I'm going long term in these companies, I'm not looking to do options forever, right? All I'm using the options to do is to make that cash flow, make that money, then I could invest in the companies and buy more shares, and then I could collect in the long run. Now, in terms of Apple, dividends is not so great as of late. I would say compared to back in the past, but still, I'm still holding on my Apple. I still believe that Apple will break that 200-300 barrier very soon, right? It's not a big, it's not a long shot. And the stock is trading at 134 right now. We have seen it hit that 148. So I think in the next year or two, especially if the iCar or if the Apple Car comes out, then I could see Apple starting to challenge in Tesla, maybe in the 250 or 300 per share. Now, the same goes for NIO as well, guys. Don't sit on NIO. Don't sleep on NIO. This price is a no-brainer. You got to get in. You got to invest. Now, in the last 5 days, NIO was breaking that $36 per share on that range. That was a great opportunity. Same go for Xpeng as well. We saw Xpeng was below $30 per share as well. Guys, the EV market is catching up. Keep in mind that we can see that the President of the United States invested a lot in that sector. There's a big amount of expectation. There's a lot of money at stake. So the EV market will start to rise. Now, one of the company that will for sure plays a huge part that will benefit is Tesla. Tesla is the face right now of the EV market. When you think about a smart car or electric car, I should say, then Tesla is that face. If you're able to invest in Tesla, it's a no-brainer. It should be an easy decision. Guys, I'm not telling you to buy 100 shares or 200 shares or 300 shares. Hell, if you can afford it, you can go ahead and buy as many as you can afford. But even one share will make a big difference. You know, the funny thing in my story is that when I started out with Tesla at first, I only buy, I think, 10 shares, right? I bought 10 shares because it was that 6 months bonus. That's when I used to work full time. And I got the bonus that we used to do. It used to be every 6 months we make 4% of our salary in bonus. So I made a huge sacrifice, I would say. I use like 30% of my bonus and I buy Tesla shares. And then I use 30% and I buy Apple. And then the other 30% I use Shopify. And the other 10% I spend in Aurora Cannabis. And then I saw the performance of that bonus. And then from that day, I kept adding more and more and more. And eventually, once my decision and was to leave at the time of my department closure, I took that package. I never looked back. I just keep on investing and diversifying my portfolio. Up to today, guys, I still own those exact 4 companies I started out with in terms of Tesla, in terms of Shopify, in terms of Apple, and Aurora Cannabis. Now, of course, I added some Intel, some AMD, and some tech stocks along the way, as well as some software companies. But Tesla has been there since day one. Now, in the last 2-3 years back, if you remember when Tesla was going through a little bit of rough patch, we can see when the stock was very, very cheap at that time, was around 189. That was pre-IPO, not IPO, that was pre-split. So that was very cheap. So I get a lot of stock at that time, and I'm happy I did, because then when I get that 5-for-1, now I was able to make a trade at 495. I was able to buy back in at 350, and I kept doing swings back and forth. But guys, I took advantage of using some options along the way to supercharge my portfolio. Now I have too many companies that I even can manage, right? So I now have to go through and see which ones I want to keep. But what I could tell you that Tesla is a play that I will hold for a very long time. Now keep in mind as well, guys, sale rose to 74%, as I said, that's $10.39 billion. A year ago, it was $5.99 billion. Now, the only difference right now that we see a small pullback in the stock. Let's just take a look right here. As we can see, the stock is up just 1.21%. Now, we saw a pullback in pre-market that it drops around 719. I'm looking forward for tomorrow. Now, for tomorrow may go 2 ways. We may see this opens up and hit, I would say 758 I'm looking for. Or if it does dip, it will, hit around 712, then have a pullback up, and then it'll go from there. Now, don't ever count Tesla out, guys. We can see right here on the 23rd, we saw when it closed off at 728. Then we look next day, it opens up in the 740s, and then it just goes from there. We have a small dip, and then we comes to today where the price was very similar. But guys, keep in mind that this is a good news for Tesla. But what's more important is that NIO, Xpeng, those competing local companies in China, you will see an uptick in their price. Now, if we take a look at NIO, I would say NIO is actually doing extremely well. I'm so happy for NIO in the performance in the last week or two. Now, if you look back in the last month, I was urging people that please, if you are trying to get into the stock, you should buy. Look at these prices at $35, $36 per share. These were a great buying opportunity. You saw those videos that I pumped out. If you look back in March 5th, March 8th, I was practically making videos from the road. I was telling people that this is a great buying opportunity. Guys, I cannot force anyone to buy. However, if you're a subscriber, if you've been following me since last year, you have seen where we came from with NIO. NIO was a stock that I took a huge chance, a huge risk, and it pays off. That's what I say. We buy low, we sell high, we take profit. You know, it's a good idea as well, guys, especially with Tesla. If we look back in the last 6 months, a lot of people, let's go back here to Tesla very briefly. I was on NIO there, I do apologize. But a lot of people, what they do in terms of Tesla, when you see these high uptrend here, guys, you gotta take profit. You know what I mean? I took profit here and I created a video and I begged a lot of people back on March 5th. I said, buy at this price, guys, a 560 for Tesla shares. This is unheard of. This was a great opportunity at 525 at one point. So we got to buy, right? We got to buy as many as we can and then wait for it to pull back up. And then you take profit. Now, keep in mind, it depends on your situation. Not everyone can hold for the long run. Some people have different expectation, different time frame. I do understand that. But with Tesla, guys, if you're going super long, you're safe for now. Just keep an eye on the market, because once the OEM starts to catch up, then the price will start to fluctuate. Now, initially, I let you guys know that I do think Tesla will eventually hit back that $1,500 per share. I still believe so. It will take a matter of months. It's not impossible. I could see by the end of this year that Tesla have an opportunity to hit back $1,000 per share. And once we cross on that $1,000 per share, then 1,500 is my mark. Now, if I get to 1,500, I will sell all of my shares. Yes, I will. I told you guys from the beginning that there are certain goals I have in mind. Once it gets there, you have to accept the situation, because it will have a pullback. We look back and see when it hits that $2,200. A lot of people didn't sell in time, right? And what some people did, what I encourage some people to do at that time, is to sell at $1,700 per share, and buy back at $1,350, and then wait for that 5-for-1 split. Then they sell at $490 and was able to buy back at $350. Then sell at $450 again and was able to buy back at $350, and then hold. And then eventually were able to sell at $890. Right. So I have a few close friends that I work with them to make those trades. Works out for them perfect. And now they're able to decide if they want to buy low now, or if they just want to stay out. A lot of people just want to make a lot of money and then buy something that pays high dividends and then just live off the dividend payment. That's another thing that I want to share with you guys as well, is that I try to diversify my portfolio. Yes, I need that high growth. At the same time, I have a few stocks that pays dividends. And I try to have a few stocks in there, like a few, I would say, like mortgage investment, like companies or real estate companies there, that I could make high dividends, anywhere from 6 to 8% with most of them. So that's a great start. If you have a few bank shares as well, like TD, I believe they pay like 4.5% in dividends payment. If you guys are looking for something in the telecommunication, I have Bell Canada, pays around 6% dividends as well. I believe Rogers I have as well, just under 4.5%. But I try to mix it up. TD and CIBC pays great dividends. In terms of price, you may not see a big movement, but at least you still have that income coming in. But at the same time, guys, keep an eye out on the EV market and the cannabis market as well. As more and more states will be legalized in the US, this will help to push the cannabis market. The EV market is very explosive. The cannabis market is very explosive as well. So if you guys play your cards right, you can definitely come out a big winner. But today I want to give it up for Tesla, to making that huge 74% sale that rose up to making $10.39 billion. It just fell short of that 10.48 billion that the analysts expected. But who cares? It's Tesla, right? So let's take a look for the market tomorrow to see what it does. Let's keep our fingers crossed. If you guys are in it right now, let's wait for that second wave of the EV boom. As I said, guys, keep an eye on a few companies. NIO, I do believe I believe will crosses that $50 per share again in this week, if not next week. In terms of Nikola, I'm looking at 15.17 short term, hitting $30 per share. I'm thinking by June that should be possible. Now, Luminar Technologies, as I said, keep an eye on Luminar. They had a huge thing going on there in terms of that LiDAR technology. We saw that Xpeng, and they started using that LiDAR technology in China. Now, Luminar Technology did sign some partnership with Airbus. So basically, they will be doing it in those, I think, urban flying areas as well. So that's a big, big news, a big boost in that sector as well for Luminar right there. But don't give up on Tesla. Wait it out. A lot of money to be made. And if you're concerned, you can always get some Workhorse and wait for that baby to pump back to $40 per share. Guys, if you like what you just hear, please go ahead, share, and subscribe. And as usual, guys, trade smart. Peace out.